Hello and welcome to The Hero Spouse. I'm Kendra Ruth, here to answer one of your questions about marriage and midlife crisis. Today we have an anonymous female left behind and forward-moving spouse. Her bomb drop was July of 2021. Her date of marriage is 2013. She has an off and on who is a low-energy wallower. Or these are what she thinks he is, but I have some other ideas possibly. We'll see. She says, my husband has characteristics of an MLCer. He is 37 and I'm 45. At the beginning, he said he needed his own space to relive his childhood and have a new beginning. We don't have kids. There's been infertility and he has a mentally ill mother and there's childhood trauma. I've never had a clear reason for his decision to end the marriage. He never gave us an opportunity to work on anything. He said he wanted an amicable divorce because his mother did not. Does that mean his mother did not have an amicable divorce? Or she didn't want one with you and she wanted to take it out on you? I wasn't sure. But he isn't monstering due to wanting an amicable divorce. He moved out at the beginning of December 2021. At first, he missed me and reached out a lot. In June of 2022, he told me that he's working on moving on and wants to move out of state. Then he got COVID at the beginning of July. He responded a lot, and on our anniversary in July, he messaged saying he hoped the day wasn't tough for me and hoped I was well. Now he won't respond to any messages if I ask anything about him. But he will respond when the messages are about business items, and pretty much he never reaches out. Is this typical of a wallower and an off and on, or is he a vanisher? I understand vanishers don't normally return, correct? You don't have either a vanisher or an off and on. You have described enough contact and communication that I would state that he is probably a distant close contactor. What I mean, he probably still hits on the boomerang level, but it's a spectrum, so closer to being an off and on. He's not clinging, but clinging can have as much contact as a regular non-clinging boomerang. Clinging is about the connection within the contact. You have somebody who is still contacting you enough. It doesn't have to be a lot. And this is subjective. I mean, I just said I've set this up, and if they contact you once or twice in 3 months, I'd say off and on. If they contact you more, is a little bit more. Not clinging, but more boomerangish, but not seriously boomerangish. When you have somebody who is contacting you daily, multiple times a day, weekly, all of those, of course, that's more. So what I'm seeing is you're thinking, he's a vanisher. And so you're trying to give yourself reasons why this isn't going to work, why your marriage isn't going to work because he's a vanisher. He's not a vanisher. He hasn't shown a single vanisher tendency because your bomb drop was just over a year ago and you've had multiple communications. It doesn't matter that he doesn't initiate them. It doesn't matter that they're not personal, but it does matter that he's returned them. If you send him something about business, he still responds back. A vanisher doesn't. Vanisher doesn't respond at all. A vanisher runs and hides. Now, your husband said that he wants to leave. He wants to move out of state. Now, that could cause more vanishing. There's more distance. I see more distance in him on the emotional level, which is why I say not clinging, which you knew. But no, he's at this point showing typical wallower, sure. Wallower, I can't tell wallower versus high energy replayer sometimes, but you are describing some more wallowing. You haven't described an affair. And if there is one, it could be underground. He has called you. He wants it to be amicable. Yeah. He called you on your anniversary. He showed, I don't know that it was showing empathy, but even, let's say he was trying even to show academic empathy. He's saying, I know I'm supposed to be nice and do this. But he still did it. He called and said, I hope this day isn't hard for you. My husband called me on my birthday and on our anniversary. And maybe it was 2 days before our anniversary. It was something like that. He called me on her birthday, which was just before the anniversary. But one of those days, he was at the top of the mountain biking mountain with her. And he stepped aside to call me. Sorry, because she didn't know about it. Oh, that was glorious. That was the very first year. He called me on my birthday, and I was up knowing he was going to call. Or I was awake. I was in bed. And I answered the phone going, "What the hell do you want?" And then he says, "Oh." So I said, "I'm sorry. I let my emotions get me. I did on that one." So, and I apologized, but I kind of love that I did it anyways, because I expected, he was such a clinging boomerang, I knew he was going to do it. Yours isn't going to do those sort of things, and yet he did that. He called you to show you, I hope this day isn't hard for you. Basically, he was saying, I'm thinking of you, and I have an awareness that our separation is difficult. There's something to that. He cares. That doesn't have to mean that he is leaning in, or there's even odds of reconciliation are a little higher or not. All I can tell you is that he's not a vanisher. In no way is he a vanisher. He is going to, he's trying to sever it gently, which is the amicable part. He's trying to sever it slowly, which is he's calling you on your anniversary to say, I hope you're doing okay. He doesn't want to put you through the traumas that he's been through. So he cares. That is more low energy, yeah. Sometimes low energy simmers with anger, but we just don't see the outbursts. We don't see the affair, or the affair doesn't really have the full energy of limerence. They're just kind of going through the motions. Or we have somebody who's depressed, but they have an awareness, almost more transition-like. He hasn't fully lost his empathy. What does that mean for you? It doesn't mean it's more likely or less likely. Yeah, you're right about vanishers and the odds being lower. Same thing even with an off and on. But you don't have one of those. You don't have a clinging boomerang either. So those are ones with the best odds of reconciliation. For your part, you heal yourself. You figure out what you want, because you might figure out it's okay. Or you might figure out, I'd like to have him back, but I can see that's not going, or it might not. You heal yourself and you continue to maintain communication with him. Hi, I'm checking on you. It was so nice that you did this on our anniversary. I wanted to make sure you're okay too. I was thinking of you today, but that's not something you do weekly. Do it every 6 weeks or every 3 months, maybe. You set a time where if he starts to feel like he's being nagged and starts to get irritated, sound like he's irritated with it, it might be too often. And he's far enough apart that you don't have to do that too often. But at this point, you're also having business items for reaching out, possibly. So you might have more than you think. Okay? I hope this was helpful. I will see everybody in the next question.